What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. Wanted to jump on and do a live video on Facebook and Instagram talking about my tips for tackling your sugar cravings. If you're watching this on Facebook, please use that share button and share this with your friends and family. This is information that I know that they're gonna wanna hear. My name's Amanda Nyberg. I'm a registered dietitian with a passion for health and wellness. And guys, I am in the same boat as you, struggling with those sugar cravings as I kind of go in and out of, being on track through the summer holidays. Last weekend got me a little derailed. And so for the month of June, I am committing to one main healthy habit, and that is to reduce my consumption of processed sugars. And I heard from a lot of you when I put out my goal for June, which actually I would love to hear your one healthy habit for June. Put it in the comments below. And a lot of you are feeling the same way. And I wanted to give you a couple of tips about ways that you can curb your sugar craving. But then I also want to talk to you about being realistic about your goals and the strategies that I'm using to kind of manage this 80-20 approach. Because I've actually talked to a couple of clients one-on-one that have the same goal. And what I've noticed is they set their expectations, they set their parameters too high. And when you do that, and I'm going to explain why, you set yourself up for failure. So let me start out by telling you how you can manage your sugar cravings to begin with. First of all, sugar and carbohydrates are a vicious cycle. The more we eat them, the more we crave them, the more we want them. Sugar and carbs are also very quickly digested. So they leave us satisfied for a very short period of time. So again, it creates that vicious cycle. We have a little, an hour later, we want more. So here are three main things that I want you to consider when you're tackling your sugar demons. Number one, magnesium and electrolytes. You know, sugar cravings are significantly associated with magnesium deficiencies. And you guys know I am the magnesium queen, okay? My whole goal for all my clients and those of you following me is that you understand the importance of optimizing your magnesium levels. There really should be no other vitamin, mineral, micronutrient that you are more focused on than optimizing your magnesium levels. And guys, it ain't easy. I will do a whole nother post on that. I personally am still working to maximize mine, but optimizing your magnesium intake is really powerful. And one of the ways I do that is through electrolytes. And I love this electrolyte balance product. DM me if you want the link. It gives me a nice dose of magnesium a day. Also, just simple electrolytes can make you feel so much better. Sugar cravings are also tied to salt. Salt is not bad for you. Salt got a bad rap in the 70s and 80s along with fat. And we realize now that low sodium diets potentially do more harm than high sodium diets. So sometimes you just need a little extra salt in your diet. So optimizing your micronutrients, sodium and magnesium need to be at the top. Number two, consuming plenty of protein. Again, I feel sometimes like I'm a little bit of a broken record saying the same thing kind of over and over, but optimizing your protein is so important. You know, when you sit down to an apple as a snack, great snack, okay? But all of that carbs and sugars, concentrated carbs and sugars are gonna be rapidly digested. They're gonna create a spike in your blood sugar. They're gonna create that insulin response. And one of the ways that we can manage those responses is to always pair our carbohydrates and sugar with protein. So instead of just doing an apple, do an apple with peanut butter. The peanut butter, the fiber, the fat and the protein in the peanut butter slow down the digestion and absorption of the carbs and sugars. So that snack is gonna stay with you longer. That snack is gonna have less of an impact on your blood sugar and your insulin levels. So always think about pairing your carbohydrates and sugar with protein, So don't just grab a handful of pretzels. It's gonna leave you wanting more. If you're gonna grab some pretzels, grab some hummus to eat it with, grab some guacamole to eat it with. So incorporating those healthy fats and proteins can be really helpful. Incorporating adequate protein throughout the day will also just help overall manage your hunger. And that kind of goes with fats as well. My third one is fiber, you know, so really when we think about protein, fiber, and fats, those are foods that fill you up. Those are foods that keep you full. Those are foods that take 4 to 5 hours to digest, therefore staying with you a lot longer. Okay, I want you guys to think about this. When you get up in the morning and you eat, say, 2 or 3 donuts, okay, what happens an hour later? You're starving, right? You get up in the morning, eat a bagel. You're starving. Sometimes you get up in the morning, even like oatmeal, which is a little bit higher in fiber, has some protein in it. You know, a couple of hours later, you're starving. But when you get up in the morning and you eat eggs and bacon, even if you have like toast with it, you're stuffed, all right? And it has to do with all that protein and fat. It stays with you a lot longer. So always be balancing out your carbohydrates with proteins and fats and high fiber foods. That's key. And the last thing is like, break the all or nothing mindset. Okay, so I was talking to a client yesterday and she's like, I'm having so much trouble avoiding sugar. And she was like, I'm eating, junk food, candies, cakes, cookies, I find myself in those things. And I'm like, okay, well, here's my plan. This week, I want you to go all in, but I want you to address your sugar cravings in a healthier manner, okay? Instead of eating Oreos and Snickers and cookies, if you have a sugar craving, I want you to eat an apple with peanut butter. I want you to eat a banana with peanut butter. I want you to eat a protein bar, that's kind of sweet with protein and fiber. And she was like, but fruit's bad. Fruit has sugar, Protein bars are bad, they have sugar. And so it's like, you've got yourself so worked up. Like you think that, fruit is bad for you, but in the long run, you're eating Oreos and cookies. So you'd be better off saying, no, I can't have, cookies, cakes, and pies, but I can have all the fruit I want. Okay, and that's a strategy that I want you guys to consider if you're trying to get rid of, your sugar cravings, if you're trying to rely less on processed sugar. Somebody asked me, Amanda, I love your no sugar goal, but what about alcohol? Okay, well, alcohol is not in my no sugar goal. So it's like you've got to figure out what goal is going to impact you the best. Okay, so for me, it's just, cutting out those processed sugar. Like alcohol is not my issue. Okay, so again, over the last 2 days, since I just started, I've been allowing myself more fruit. I even had like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I've been allowing myself more balanced carbohydrate and sugar options, more healthy sugar options, okay? And this is my goal to get me off of the crap. So again, when you're setting your goals up, don't set them up so hard that they're not achievable. My goal for my client was, let's try for the next week to only eat whole food, natural sugar processed. Someone's asking, what about date syrup and honey? Yes, sure. I mean, if you're eating a half a jar of honey a day, probably not a great idea. But, again, those are healthy, sugar options. So, find that balance between the foods that you really need to not eat and the foods that you can eat and incorporate in a healthy diet. So I hope that helps you tackle your sugar cravings. Post your questions in the comments below. If you're on Facebook, please share this video. If you're on Instagram, please share it as well. We're rolling into the weekend. June doesn't have too much going on, so always utilize these times in your life when you can go a little bit harder, go a little bit more deeper, and dialed in until the next holiday. So see you soon. Bye.